Okay, here we go. So this is the first 5 days, okay, for the watercolour days. And the first 5 days are going to be you working on just picking up things around the place to sketch out and use the watercolour on. Okay, so stop freaking out because I know that that's the first thing you're going to get, but I can't draw. So like I've been saying for a few of the things that we've did, like with the mandala challenge, is that it's not really about how well you get something. It's just about you playing with the materials, seeing how it works. So, you know, I found there's a feather, I found the leaf, found a rock. I've got a little duolac, little mortar and pestle, get my language right, and you can just pick out anything. So these first 5 days is just to get a handle on how can you use the watercolour and, you know, how does it work for you. So I'm going to start, I'll do this mortar and pestle because I can, and then I can do the feather tomorrow. So what we'll do is I'll show you a few techniques. You go away and do yours and then post up your little work every day in the group or in the page, whichever you prefer. So remembering that I'm working with A5, so this is quite small, which means that I can complete it, I can do it in a day and it's done. If you've got the kiddies around, and I know that somewhere through this month school holidays are coming up here in Australia, so this would be a really lovely thing to do with your kids, as something that you do with them rather than your kids go and leave mum alone for 5 minutes. It is a lovely activity. I do this with my son sometimes and we sit and draw together. Just a little bit of, you know, parenting time. So I've got my watercolors here. Now if you've got the little kid ones that are just the round ones, you might want to get yourself a little paper plate, not a paper plate, a plastic plate, or a little ceramic bowl or something that you can mix your color in, because this is going to be kind of important for you to mix your colors unless you're using straight colors, which is fine too. All right, so I'm going to start off with my item, which, how am I going to draw this? I might have to draw it this way because it's a bit more of a long thing. So, you know, just basic shape. This is what you call a contour drawing, where you don't think about it too much and you just do rough lines and roughly work out where things go. This actually makes your drawings quite interesting if you don't get stuck in doing something really tight. Okay, and if you make a mistake, that's okay, you just keep drawing. You're going to colour this, so okay, so there I've got my starting point. Now I might be a bit fancy here and put like it's on a table. That's all of a sudden done that. So we can do that. You know, be as creative as you like. It'd be good if you covered the whole space. If you want to do pattern work on it and stuff, you could too. So there we go. Now you have also the option, if you like, because when you put watercolor over pencil, you kind of lose the penciling marks a bit. You can get these markers that are waterproof. Very important that it's waterproof ink that you use if you're going to use that, because as soon as you stick water on some markers, they will run, and if they run, it'll kind of make a mess. So we want to try and avoid that. So I'll show you what happens when you just put watercolor onto the pencil. Now you can put some water on the water's kind of the key to doing this, depending on your brush. Sometimes it's good to have a little spritzer thing that you can just spray some water on. It makes it a little bit easier. So what happens with these colors is that they're concentrated. So if you want a full-on dark color, you use the color straight without much water at all. So let's do What can we do this in? And remember, it doesn't have to be a realistic colour. So I'm going to do this in a blue. So I've got my blue over here. Oops, don't know if you can see there. So with these ones, you just put a little bit of water and bring it out. Now if I use this straight on here, see how it's got a nice dark colour? Now you think about if I want to wash that down, then you bring in more water to make it less dark. So the thing with watercolours is if you want to lighten a colour, you add more water until the point where, so if I keep adding water here while it's wet, so I can get that kind of an effect where it's just about washed out, but you can still see the colour. You can come back with that colour and do it a little bit more darker as well if you want to, and sometimes you can also add even a darker colour if you want to use your shadows. So say if I bring in and, oops, didn't wet that enough. No, that's a bit too turquoisey. I need the really dark blue. It's a good thing to play with your colours and see what you get. So it's still got too much water. And you can come over these colours a little bit more as you go once they've dried, and you can add different layers. You can't sort of go more than about 3 layers before it kind of loses its touch. Now if you want to leave something white, you just don't put anything on it. There's a few things that I can show you later, but that's just getting complicated, and we want to do this as simply as it's a quick drawing, a quick do something. Then we might want to add something around down here. You can actually get a tissue and sponge these down as well, and you can get some different effects by doing that. So again, you can do it straight colour from, so just straight from there, put your colour down along the lines, and then you bring the water in. So you get that kind of little bit of an interesting effect, and you can bring different types of colours as well. It doesn't have to be a flat colour. Like say if I picked in what can I go with the orange? I might go the really bright yellow. I can sort of bring bits of that along there and mix it in. So you can mix your colours on there. You can also mix your own colours by bringing them over here with the water and create your own colour range. It's a good play thing to do. You see, all I'm doing is dabbing the brush there. So it gives me a few little bits of effect. I might bring in another colour into the blue. What can I bring in there? Might bring a little bit of red just to do some highlighting here and there. You end up with a bit of purple. Bring a bit more yellow in here. So you can use different colours and just see what happens. So see how I'm putting a bit of yellow in that blue area, I'm getting a little bit of green. And you get some, you just keep going and see what happens. So that's the task for the next 5 days. Find something, sketch it quick, and then come back and post it up. I'll show you once this is dry. I'll bring back and do the marker over the top to show you some of the things you can do with the marker over the top. The other thing that I forgot to show you was if you're working with, if you haven't got these types of watercolors with the little tablets and you've got the watercolor pencils, Similar process, draw your thing and then come back and you basically do colour in. Now some people think that you need to dip this into the water before you brush it, but the actual idea is that you colour in and then you bring in your brush with the water to create the effects. So it can be quite rough colouring in. So see how I'm just scratching away there. And again, you can do that thing where you don't colour in all the way, you just sort of do the edge. If I've got another colour that I'm going to blend into it, I can kind of start that colour off down here. So it looks a bit rough, but once we bring in some water, have a look at that. You can really get rid of your lines. If you're worried about the lines showing, don't do it as hard, just do a really light pencil, like you were colouring in really nicely. But you can see there that if I just keep moving the brush, it sort of takes away the pencil look. You know, and you can use a combination of these because you might want to get that darker, edgy look to it, and you can come back when it's dry and do some more on it. Now here, where this is dried, let's show you how you can bring in your texture. So I've got, now the idea of the marker is not necessarily to, still a little bit wet, so you really want to wait till it's dry. The idea of the marker is not so much to just do an outline, but you might do similar to what you did with your pencil in when you were doing the original drawing. So see, once I put that on there, it just starts to bring it out. There might be some more. It's a bit hard with the wet. You definitely have to wait till it's dry. So the idea is don't come back and do it really like an outline so it looks like a cartoon. Rather pick a side, pick an edge where you want it to really show the shape of the thing you're doing. And that's about it, really. It's just a matter of playing with your watercolors, whether you're doing the pan stuff or if you've got the pencils, and have a try and see what happens. Just remember that your color mixes you can end up with brown. So if you mix anything like so if I mix that orange with the blue while it was wet, it would have ended up brown. If I mix in the orange with the green, I'd end up brown. So you want to try and work with your colors so that you're not mixing wet, those colors that are going to end being brown. So if you have purple and yellow, that will end up brown unless you just paint them. They actually pop really well, so you can use them in different colors in there. You can also, you've got the orange and the blue, which will also get brown, and the green and the red. So be careful with that. The other thing is, if it doesn't work out, don't stress. You can always do another one.